Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. And here again, it's early in the morning. I'm trying to sleep, but I can't sleep. I can't get any rest. And the reason that or part of the reason for my discomfort is because I'm thinking about how life for me should be. And that is that I should be satisfied in every way. But one of my most major problems that robs me of my satisfaction is that it's the pain and suffering that the rest of my family, and when I say the rest of my family, I'm talking about my human family. I'm talking about the pain and suffering of society that all of us really experience, because if one does, it's open for us all. And believe it or not, in order to satisfy any situation that denies any, it's always affecting everyone at that moment in time. But be that as it may, it exists. And for me, it makes me want to do something. And I realize that the truth is out here, but you have to search for it, because people for one reason or another, we are given a conversation about life, basically the same, but it's kind of mixed up depending upon what our culture has accepted as being representative of who we are. I was thinking about a scenario that might be kind of uh, easy to understand the point. If you take a teacher, an instructor, and he has two students, one has been taught nothing but English, and the other has been taught nothing but Chinese. And if you put an objective for before them, and it's the same objective, but you spoke to the one in English, and gave him instructions to go after it and bring it back, and at a different location or wherever, a different point, spoke to the Chinese who knows nothing but Chinese and gave them the same instruction. Now, recognizing that both of these individuals, the Chinese and the American, are loyal to the instructor. The instructor speaks and they respond. And so, having given each of these the instruction to go and retrieve something, they are both in there, wherever they are, going to do it. But there's a problem. As they're getting closer, they recognize that there's someone else who might or have given the impression that they are going to retrieve the same thing that they're going to retrieve, because they're acting the same. And so when they get there at the same time, and they're both thinking what they got to do, and yet they were given instruction in different language. So they are responding to what they have been given to do. And the truth of the matter, they were given to do the same thing, but they don't know it, because it was given in a different language. But because they were instructed, generally, the general instructions amongst the people, what they had accepted as tradition, what they accepted as our part of our way of life, is common. And so just recognizing the efforts that's being made to achieve what each of them have been given to do, even though they can't speak the same language, they recognize that their actions repeats itself. And it gives and lends to the possibilities that, yes, the mission is to retrieve it. And if you're to retrieve it, I'm retrieving, and we just retrieve it together, we take it together. And now that's wisdom. That perhaps seems to be a way we can learn some things about life. But somebody else might say, well, what if you go and you've been given instruction, and the instruction is not in a different language, but in conduct? One is to go and retrieve it and retrieve it, and the other is to go and retrieve it. One is supposed to be what you want to call nice, friendly, um, The other's supposed to be willing to do anything, willing to do anything. So you got one who's been taught to be nice. I want to use the word nice. I think if I use the word nice, you know what I'm talking about, and bring that thing back. The other one say, oh, heck no, I'm bringing that thing back. Anything get in my way, I'm willing to do anything. So what are you supposed to do then? What are you supposed to do? Well, you're supposed to do what's real. That's what you're supposed to do. It might be that you who being nice means not to start anything, to treat people the way you want to be treated, but you will defend against anything that robs you of your right. And so when the other decides that just you being there is in its way, then it's ready to attack you, then what do? It really is up to you, but most people will defend themselves. And what would that end up eventually doing? It will eventually end up wiping you out, both of you out, or keeping you in hell by you not progressing to any positive way. You're just going so far down the hole that takes you to the worst kinds of events in life, to perhaps and hopefully that one day you just throw your hands up in there and give up and say, that's enough, and turn around and go back a different route that you've never tried before. That could be a way, but that doesn't even make too much sense. But that's the way it appears that the world is basically trying to go. And so for me, like I said, I want some rest. I want some comfort. So I seek the truth. I seek the truth, and I place in your liberty. I place in your way of life. I place in your comfort. I place in your heavenliness. I place in your best dreams that which I at least give to myself, that I experience peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and happiness, and that I live my dreams. That's me. That is wonderful for me. And I got to believe that you at least can have that. I'm not trying to restrict you to that, but at least have access to that or whatever is equal to that. Not only that, I want my needs, my wants, and my desires met. I believe that every human being out there wants the same thing. Their needs, their wants, and their desires met. I truly believe that most of us want to live. We don't want to have to lie, and cheat, and steal. We don't want to engage ourselves in racism and hatred and bigotry. We don't want these things to happen. They do, but we don't want them to happen. So I'm thinking if we want to get rid of the things that we don't want to do, lie, cheat, and steal, and yet the other things of life you and I want, then it is incumbent upon us to determine, based upon how much we want, how bad we want, and what we're willing to do to get it, to determine how, based upon availability, how do we do it? Well, for me, it turned out to be simple, having spent years and years and years and years and years searching and wanting to know and not knowing. And so when it finally came, it looked so simple. It looked so simple because it allowed me to see things that got so much significance in what happens in life that we take for granted. You know, like people take democracy for granted, think that it's just going to be there. You'll start finding out what's going on. So, we have to deal with these kinds of things. We have to make adjustments. We have to move the needle. And so for me, I'm looking at this earth that's been given to us. This earth as whatever the earth is to you. I know what it is to me. And then I think about the resources that have been made available, because everything from the stone wheel to the computer to the going to the moon, even if you just go up there to ride around like rich people do, then look down on what poor people can't do. All of that, from the beginning of that to all of that, the resources used to do that came with the earth. Free. It ain't nothing about whoever grabs it for his own. No, See, all of that stuff comes from systems that derived from people who do not have the interest that I'm sharing with you now. And that is for me to be satisfied, which means that you have to be satisfied as well. And that means that we have to respect certain things as people that would allow us to exercise certain principles. Having agreed that this is what we want, it has to be choice. And so now that we are recognizing this, we are the benefactors. We are the ones who see this. We are the ones who dream this. We are the ones that benefit. So it stands to reason that we play a part in the process of making sure that this does not run out. And it's a simple thing to do because we find out that all of this stuff is done by we, the people. And to me, it appears that the most wonderful way for people to engage themselves in the process of participating is for them to choose something that they love doing within this process and be satisfied with that which they choose as that which they love because of the joy that comes from engaging in that process. The kind of joy that permits you to continue. You're not restless. You're loving it. Each of us, me, each of us, loving what we're doing. See, I'm searching for a way that you can never have to worry about food, never have to worry about your housing, never having to worry about your education, never have to worry about your health care, never have to worry about your transportation, never have to worry about anything that's made by the hands of man, because we the people have found a way that each of us can participate in the utilizing the free resources that have been provided that allows us to use the gift that gives us our greatest joy and having a reason now to engage that stuff. And all we are doing is creating that which we are dreaming about, that which really is an expression of what I say is the power that brought us here, that is using us to create, cause manifestation of all the AIs and on and on and on. And what happens? Every last one of us, every American, every Russian, every Chinese, every African, every Mexican, every human being on the face of the earth, waking up smiling because they got something going on in life. They got respect. They are respected for what they do because they are wanted and appreciated. And that goes around to everybody, because everything that you do is welcome. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's at odds with anyone. You're doing what gives you your greatest joy. And you are not suffering a lack of anything. Not a single person is out there talking about, I can't go to the doctor. Not a single person is out there talking somebody doing me wrong. Not a single person is out there upset with your color. And you know what? And no ghettos, and no potholes, and there's no corruption. So I come and take my time just to repeat this over and over and again, knowing that if I speak it, it's like me speaking English, but a lot of folks who it's hitting their ears and it's sounding like Chinese or something else or a foreign language, something that they don't understand because they have not been exposed to it, they have not experienced it, and they have been experiencing stuff to think that anybody that comes to them and say what I just said must think that they are crazy buying some stuff like this. There's no way this can happen. And they say that because they have been trained never to give life to it, never to help it out. Always put it down. Why? Because you, my friend, would have known if it were true. And you don't know it because it's not true. You just have to keep on doing what you're doing and be smart. It's gonna work out. You're gonna work out. That's what they want you to believe. But by the time it works out, your cup of coffee will be cold. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you because the truth of the matter of it is this. In America, I've been doing a lot of complaining. I see that people are busy. I see that the states are coming together within themselves, the states and its population. They're organizing and standing up at least for the basic principles that they were taught were right. And they are formulating a movement to go against this evil that's been just what zoned in on them and dropped. I see governors standing up, speaking out. I see university presidents. I see community organizations. I see the people, the population themselves getting tired talking or getting in the streets. Man, that's good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful because they are stating that, yes, we have had rained down on us the worst we've ever seen come at us. We read about it, maybe. We heard about it, maybe. But we've been able to avoid it. But today, it's right at our door. And we are standing up. We are standing up. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, it is fantastic that you, at least are this woke. It is great that you're standing up. It is absolutely fantastic, but it is not the best. You see, if we say standing up and it's wonderful and all that, and if that satisfies us, we have to recognize that it is that, my friends, that allowed us to get here. It is that took the time to create the animosity, to create the hatred, to create the racism to the degree that it would bring us to this point. Now, yeah, things have happened much more devastating before now than now. But now it's coming from it's the same thing basically, but it's coming from a different perspective. One time it was just like, let's say the slave. Slave was doing what they were doing, people were profiting. But the times have changed. They said that fast and all, they said people's hearts have changed and all that, and supposed to been, it really hadn't, but they're trying to camouflage it some kind of way. And then trying to camouflage it, then it's like cracking the egg. Mega came on the scene. And Mega came in and said, oh, there are no lies that we can tell. There is no wrong that we can do. Our leader has the smartest brain, and you know how that thing goes. And they accepted it. They accepted it. So, what do? It's a story. Go for the goal. Go for the goal. That's just an option. That's just an option. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I'm not trying to lead you anywhere. Do I want you? Sure. I want you to have just exactly what we just got through talking about having. Because then I can smile. I can do, and you can do, and we can all be doing good. But in the meantime, the power is in the truth. The power is with God. And let me say, it would be smart if you know God for yourself. Know God for yourself so when other people like me come and tell you something about God, if it doesn't jive with the God that you know, and if it doesn't, impress you, if it doesn't draw you based upon what you know and what your goals and objectives are, if it doesn't do that, then push it aside. If it's right, it'll be back or you'll be ready when the time is right. But other than that, you got to know God for yourself. You know, people lie. Sometimes people tell you what they think is the truth, which isn't. And sometimes what they told you was the truth, but they've progressed on from that. And if you're stagnant on what was and refuse to go on, you behind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll stop. I've confused you enough, but I hope I've gotten your attention a little bit. Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for you, all people. Until next time, goodbye.